Okay, so I had to cancel my stream today because I had, something came up. Okay. But I thought I really didn't want to let this pass without saying something about why I am voting yes tomorrow. Now, I'm not somebody who's going to call you a racist or judge you or, call you stupid. Okay. And there is a difference between being stupid and being ignorant or, being stupid and not knowing. Saying that you don't know something is not saying that you are stupid. Okay. Saying that you are blind to, racism doesn't necessarily mean you are racist. Okay. I'm not going to do that. I'm going to ask you to think about it. I'm going to ask you to think about what's happened in the last week. Now, you might think that those aren't the same thing. Okay. I understand that emotions are running high. You don't see the direct connection between what's happening in Gaza and what's happening here. Okay. But they're both colonial states. Okay. Both Australia and Israel were founded on this fundamental principle of terra nullius, this idea that human beings were wildlife and that the land was unpopulated. Okay. You need to remember that this is a foundational thing. Now, the difference between Australia and what's happening in Israel, obviously, is very different. Okay. At the moment, currently, there's no violence. Currently, there isn't war, okay? Well, not a war that you can see anyway. But there has been genocide. There is this, truth of our history. Okay? There's truth about our history that we have to face. And every time that I do, it's a no-brainer. Look at who's asking you to vote yes. 80% of, surveyed Aboriginal people or Indigenous people in this country have asked us for a say. Okay. Look at who's asking you to vote no. The people who are asking you to vote no are the people who know you don't know. They know you aren't sure. They know that you don't know the Constitution and they prey on that doubt because of some bullshit culture war. But look at how they're responding towards Gaza at the moment. Look at the people who are calling for peace. Look at the people who are not. Look, just pause and think about what makes Australia great. They prey on you not knowing about how our system works. Our system is robust for a reason, okay? The reason it is robust is because we took the best parts of the United States and the best parts from the United Kingdom and we pulled them together and called that the Commonwealth of Australia, okay? Now, our system of government has lots of checks and balances. We have states, we have local government, we have, the executive, the judiciary, we've got, the legislature, which is parliament, and the voice. You know what they want? They want to say. They want to be consulted. Okay? Now they're going to quibble about the law and all of these things about uncertainty because that's what they do. But look at the people who are asking you to vote no. I'm not going to try to appeal to you on a legalistic level. I'm not going to try to appeal to you on the facts because honestly, a lot of these campaigns are not based in fact. They're based on the assumption that you don't know stuff. And maybe if the people that you don't know much about, whose stories you don't know much about, the Constitution that you don't know much about, maybe you could actually look at what's going on right now. A direct, okay, I'm not going to say consequence, okay, because that, obviously it's not, the things aren't linear, okay. They're not unrelated. You have an occupying force. You have an imperialist force. You have a colonial force that sits at a crossroads between who we want to be. They're not slaughtering any of us. They're not doing anything to us, despite what we do, okay? Despite the deaths in custody, the stolen generation, the poverty, the fucking, the desecration of sacred sites by mining companies, the lack of consultation. And yes, the court system, yes, but it takes a decade to get there, a decades-long fight. People romanticize things like Mabo, okay? Eddie Mabo fought for years to get something that he should have had in the first place. I want us to take the best parts, not the worst parts of the United States and the UK, because we're better than that. We're so much better than that. We can do this without violence. But we can also do this without making babies sick and babies suffer and people starve and people not have access to healthcare and people die in their 50s from preventable illnesses. That's why I'm voting yes. Because they asked me to. They didn't demand it. And they have every right to. Like Aboriginal people, okay, when I say they, I'm not othering, I'm just, obviously, this is unscripted. They're asking. They're not demanding. And there's no slaughter. There's no violence. There's no, but the desperation is the same. And if you think that the desperation isn't the same, and our Indigenous people have been patient, nothing but patient. Nothing, like, there's, for fuck's sake. They just asked nicely to have a say in how things run. For fuck's sake. Okay? Let us have the best parts again, not the worst parts. And right now, Murdoch, Dutton, the Liberal Party, those fucking racists, and yes, I'm going to call them racist. I'm not calling everyone who votes no racist, but I'm calling everyone who's racist votes no, okay? Whose only job is to divide you and make you hate people and not even, not see the connection. It's the least we could fucking do. They're not begging. They're not even begging. They're just asking. You shouldn't have to fight, up against billions of dollars of unlimited resources in courts to not have your sacred sites destroyed by mining companies. They're just asking for a say. They're asking for a cut. So what? It's not even what's happening. So even that's the thing. It's just they're asking for. It's not even the ask. The ask is, can the government consult? We'll figure out the rest. Now, that's well documented. Anyone who says that stuff, there's no plan or that there's uncertainty or that there's too much executive power is full of shit. Okay? It's documented. You just don't know. And they're preying on it. Anyway, I got to go. I'm asking you to think about this. I'm asking you to just turn your blinkers off. Stop thinking that what happened today is an isolated event. Start seeing the patterns of history, okay? I know that there are a lot of people who have spent many decades being very comfortable and they've had the luxury of not caring or not being aware of what's going on. But lately, I know that the people who have been comfortable are now feeling it. They're feeling that stress for the first time in a long time. And I'm wanting you to channel that stress into what it must be like for people who are on less money than you or don't have a property or worry about where their next meal is coming from. And then you look at people like Peter Dutton and Pauline Hanson and Rupert Murdoch and people like that, and you give them the contempt that they deserve. Do not punch people who are already suffering. They're just asking to be heard. There's no additional power. It is non-binding. Australia has one of the most stable political systems in the world, and you know why we did that? Because we took the best from the US and the best from the UK. And right now, because we inherited both of those systems, we are rotting from the base of capitalism in a way that makes us have the worst of both of those worlds. I'm asking you to decide that we want to be the best, because we are. Anyway, that sounded preachy. I didn't mean it to. But what are you going to do? Vote yes, please. You know, what's it to you? Fuck me. I used to think that history was written by the winners. I used to think that history was... Say it again. I used to think that history was written by the winners. Turns out that it's being rewritten. Turns out that it's being rewritten by fucking losers. We need to make it right. I'm voting yes because the people who it affects severely asked for it. That's it. That's my only reason. If you quibble with me, bring it. Bring your legal argument. Bring your best. You're wrong. Can we please be better than this? Can we please... I'm just so sick of this suffering. I'm so sick of everything being cruel and everyone justifying cruelty behind quibbles and details and pedantics. This is not high school debate club. This is human lives. We make a decision to love each other. We make a decision to trust each other. We make a commitment to making it right. They should have had a say in the beginning. They didn't get a say in the beginning. Neither did the Palestinian people. And look what's happening. I'm not saying, I'm not comparing those two things. I'm just obviously using it as a way to get you thinking. Open your eyes. Learn about history. Learn about colonization. Learn about what it does to Indigenous populations. And commit to making it right. And stop being a fuckwit. If you're going to vote no, I'm not going to, whatever. I'm done. We're always up against these. This is the thing about sort of, the truth is that when you're on the left, whatever that means, you're usually on the side, you're on the losing side. Despite what these right-wingers will tell you, the left is on the losing side. And what we do is when we lose, we learn, we regroup, we grieve, and we start again. And we try again against all of these resources, all of the lies. And that's, you've seen it. You know better. Anyway, vote yes. Bye.